Welcome to my channel, guys. Now we're gonna react for the Llama Arts, the horror stories, true horror stories. Let's go. Llama Arts. Oh, sorry, wrong spelling. Sorry for that. Llama Arts. Okay, now let's gonna okay, after the stories. Okay.
This happened when I was 17 years old. I would go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week and ride the bus home.
Okay.
It was a Sunday and I had just missed my bus, so I had to wait longer for another one. I would have called my parents, but they were out for the evening, and taxis charged more, so I decided to sit and wait in the bus shelter.
Love you.
It was a cold night and snow had just started peppering the ground. My bus was taking longer than usual, so I got my phone out and listened to some music.
Okay. How long?
Almost an hour had passed. It was freezing and I hadn't seen anyone at all. That was until I noticed something out of the corner of my eye. It was a creepy guy dressed in thick...
Whoa. That was creepy. An old scary guy? Oh shit. Look at his face. Oh. It's like a beggar, but look. Okay.
Layers of clothing, walking slowly towards me. I knew staring at him would draw more attention, so I just focused on my phone.
Okay.
He sat down at the other end of the shelter and just stared at me.
Okay.
There was something off about him.
Okay.
He seemed like he was either drunk or on drugs. He then asked, "When is the bus due?" I took out my earphones and said, "I think it's delayed because of the snow." He stared at me for a while, then started mumbling to himself. He was really starting to creep me out, so I pretended to be on my phone.
Like
After a couple of minutes, I took another look. He moved closer to me. I looked away for a second, then heard the sound of him sliding even closer. I turned to him and said, "You okay?"
Maybe he likes you, that's why he's sliding, right? He liked you, or maybe he just like to kill you. Okay, let's go.
"Hey there?" He stared at me with glossy eyes, lifted his arm and leaned towards me. Immediately, I grabbed my bag and ran as he fell to the ground. I ran down the road, trying my hardest not to look back. I kept going until I got to the next bus stop.
Okay.
I turned around to check to see if he was there. He was gone, so I went to sit down.
Yes, it's gone.
Feeling relieved,
Yeah,
I rested my head on the back of the glass and waited for the bus.
Okay, this is the hard one. Oh no, oh no.
I jolted and turned around to see the same guy staring.
Whoa. How did he do that in the same? Is he teleporting or just have powers? He have powers or it's just bad or a ghost or a killer? But how did he do that? Comment down below if you know how.
Hit me through the glass. "What the hell is wrong with you?" Then he started walking around the shelter towards me. "I'm warning you, stay back!" I yelled in panic as I was backing up. I wanted to run, but I left my bag in the shelter and I couldn't leave without it. Suddenly, the man leaped at me and I quickly moved out of the way. I fell to the ground face first. I froze in shock, then noticed the blood coming from his face.
Oh, that was a very, very fast dodge. He used to like to do this. Blah, 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 blah. How did you do that? Look, man, the blood. You burst. What did he even do that for his self? Like to kill this boy? Okay, let's do it.
I tried to get a response out of him, but nothing worked. I called the police and paramedics, and they arrived shortly after. I told them what had happened, and they told me that the guy was on prescription drugs. They found a photo in his wallet of him and his son.
What?
The boy looked just like me, so we assumed he thought I was him. I later learned that he had lost his son in a custody battle and went off the rails. He was taken away for treatment. That was the last I saw of him. I got my driver's license shortly after, and have never been on a bus since.
Ala.
Bakit umalis nang walang
Okay.
I was looking for a car to buy for my son for his 18th birthday. I was searching all the typical car websites, cars.com, eBay Motors. They were all overpriced as expected. Craigslist was the only place to find an actual deal. About a week into my search, I found an 03 Toyota Camry. It had 67,000 miles, no accidents, no damage, and good condition for only $3,500. This seems like a steal for such a reliable car with such low mileage. The seller lived about 10 miles from me, which was a reasonable drive when looking for a car. I gave him a call to set up a time to come check it out. The man sounded normal on the phone. He assured me that there were absolutely no problems with the car. He introduced himself as Bob. I brought along $3,500 in cash, even though I planned on wiggling down the price as much as possible. I pulled up the dirt road to Bob's property about 15 minutes early. It was a tiny little house with a decent-sized property, only because I was a bit far from the nearest neighbors. The garage was open, so I walked over to see if anybody was inside, but except for an unusual amount of car parts, it was empty. The car was nowhere in sight. The only car on the property was an old pickup truck. I went over to the front door to check the house numbers. It was the right address. The doorbell button was missing, so I knocked on the front door.